Alright guys, so I'm going to do the build on the rear now. Basically, it's going to be almost done. I'm going to leave these packages like this. So this is how the thing came. So it's like this huge bag had a whole bunch of bags in it. Basically everything you need for the rear, and then all the assortment for all the little parts. I'm getting into the habit of getting everything out so that if you're missing something, like I had a big fret that I was missing one of the seals for when in reality it was stuck actually on this. But they're actually supposed to be the steel ones over here. But I'm actually just going to switch it to the aluminum. Well, whatever, anyways. But time for the diff build. But I just wanted to go over some of the nice machining on this. I could see in the future them bringing out a kit version of the Losi 5T. After this 29 one comes out, the Losi T 2.0. With pretty much everything you see here. Not everything you see here, but the other version, like the boots, the lightened out drives, right? The lightened machine gears, like they machined that down inside of here. Other than that, it's pretty much this. Yeah, those are now aluminum. That's pretty much it. But these are really nice. I can't get over how nice these things are. And the pills. There's all the new pills. So I don't know, I'm just going to go with the stock setting and see how it goes, and then I'm going to look online and see what other guys are running. But this should be actually a really good build. I'm excited for it. It's pretty decent. We'll see what these arms are all about. Gotta say I had a few breaks on the other ones, but then again, when you cartwheel, you know, 45, almost 45 pound RC car going at 45 kilometers an hour, it's something's bound to break, right? It's just how it is. So I'm hoping these things don't come out. There's guys with them that they're coming out after a few heats. So I'm hoping it doesn't. I guess Horizon Hobby does fix it. They send you new ones. But if not, well, whatever. If it does come out, I'm going to take this to a machine shop, get this drilled out to 4mm. I'm going to get 4mm grub screws. Then I'm going to superheat these things with a torch and drop in new pins. Or just use, I think this is the same size. I have a whole bunch of FML parts. Or FLM. Fast lane machine parts. There you go. Just the pins. But yeah, if not, well, whatever. I might go Fat Dad in the back. But we'll see. This is just a stock buggy for this year. And then after that, we'll see what happens. But just a little bit of a side note here. These are the tools that I've been using. I know we did make a video about tools, but this is just what I've been using for the build. Just a knife. My drill drivers, I got a whole bunch of them. And some ratchets, and basically that's it. I did have an issue with the shock seal. I did have it on a previous video. So what I did was basically just use a little file. I don't know where it is, kicking around here somewhere. Right here. Reamed it out a little bit, and then used this drill with some Scotch-Brite on the end of it, and gave it some pre-filing. You know, sometimes when you're rebuilding things, especially when it comes time to pre-wear them. I know I've had some issues with 10 scale stuff where I've had to pre-wear the rear end. So you basically just put the drill on a nut or like with a hex on it and just give her on the tires basically, so you don't have to use the motor, right? That's what I've done a couple times, and I did it on this with those. It's already all assembled in the rear shocks, but hopefully this time it should be all good. Look, these are pretty much the same. There's a little bit of splashing on the plastic. If you can't see, I don't know if the camera can pick this thing up. But basically, splashing is where it's like really discolored on the plastic. It's probably not a big deal, but it's not as shiny as this. It looks a little bit different. I worked in a plastic factory years ago, so I kind of got used to it. And yeah, these now I think they're titanium. Are nitride coated steel. These are really nice. I've only bent a few. I got a whole bunch of them. So we'll see. After this season, I'll have videos about my progress for this year with this 5B, because I've been waiting for this for 2 years since it came out, and I treated myself. So, alright, have a good one, guys. Alright, guys. Well, I'm almost, it's almost a slider chassis now. Just need to put the shocks on. But no, it's going pretty good. The build, there's A bit of a fitment issue still with this the gear. Now it's even inside there. See, it spins. It's fine. It's just that same spot on there as it is in here, on inside where the pinion meets the gear. And then after, she's good to go, right? Still. So I don't know. I know it's not in here. It's something to do with in here. I had to, there's a shim right here. Normally it's supposed to be on the other side behind the pinion, but that was even worse. So I don't know if it just has to be worked in. You know, like I don't remember that with my Losi 5T. Then again, it's been so long ago since it was brand new, and I was really new into large scale, so I've learned a lot since then. So I'm wondering if it's just going to be just over time work it in, like it could be machining issue. Because I mean, for it not to be able to spin like this. So I might have to take it apart. I'm going to see first though. Like, I'm not going to run it. I'm just going to check it out though. Anyways, that's the build so far. It's going pretty good. The body's outside getting dried out, but it started to rain, so I had to bring it in. Anyways, have a good one, guys. Alright guys, I'm on to the electronics now. Put the wing on. Now it looks like a buggy. It's looking pretty decent. Alright, so I guess with the overheating issue with some people, Killer RC does have a battery box insulator kit, but I'm too cheap, and Michael's is really cheap, and so I use some of this stuff. It's like $2 Canadian. It's in the craft section with the children's stuff. It's a sticky one-sided. You know, you don't have to break the bank on some things. Some things you should. Some things you don't really have to. Needless to say, this is the battery box. This stuff's pretty thick. This is the stuff that they come with. It's a little bit more spongy than this, and it's about the same thing as this, a little bit more porous, but it'll work. Anyways, that's the battery I'm going to use. Just a shorty pack, and it fits in there absolutely perfect. And very little movement, so that can just be stopped with more styrofoam. That's what I do on a lot of things, is I might just put a little bit of something on top of this, and then it'll be good. This thing will be, it won't be moving, and it'll insulate it from the heat. I might even coat underneath here. There's a reflective tape you can get, and one version has a goo on the other side of it. It's like an insulator. It's like this. It's almost like a putty. I was thinking about getting that and putting it on here. Underneath here anyways, to keep the heat out. Maybe even the stuff on here on that side. I'll just give it a shot anyways and see if it's actually worth it. But this is the servo I'm going to use. It's pretty good. I had it as my steering servo on my Losi until I stripped all the gears on it because I had an issue. So I had these metal on both sides, and then this horn I had a double horn, a Team Hoonage horn. I still have it. And this was an NTG piece. Nothing wrong with NTG on a large scale. I mean, it's still pretty good. But over time, even though I had the servo saver nut all the way off, the two pieces of aluminum, one was really matte, and this one was really shiny. And over the years, not even over the years, over the summers and stuff, they wore a groove together. And then eventually, basically, seizing. So when I hit a large bump, right, it didn't even activate. It basically just stripped the horn instantly. I had one bad landing. I cartwheeled it, and boom, popped the servo. So I bought a new gears and put it in. And so that's what we're going to have, is this thing. I was contemplating going small scale and getting a plate for it, but those servos are, a good one is about $130 American, and since I already have these, so that's a little too expensive considering these were $107 each. And you can get the ProTech ones that have more torque than these high-tech, and they're only 10th scale, but you're going to pay the price. They're $159 American for one I seen, and 129 for another. So add 42% to that plus duty and exchange. For us, it's expensive. This hobby is really killing the Canadians here. That's all I gotta say. We still into it no matter what, but it's very, very expensive. So anyways, that's the wrap for this. Gonna go with the Futaba system that I have. I've only been using Futaba with large scale ever since I had not a runaway with the Spectrum, but just issues all the time. And then we'll be putting this in it. Just your Killer Bee Killer RC switch, kill switch, because that's a must. But this is looking pretty nice. I was contemplating actually putting this tray in my Losi 5 with the dual steering, but I didn't. I just used the 5B tray instead and bought a brand new 5T tray and cut the receiver box off and then modified it. So this will be pretty good. But for the dual steering, I'm actually going to wire up a little capacitor pack just to prevent any brownout issues or whatever, right, and volt drop issues when with a hard landing and everything going all at once. So anyways, that's it for now. I'll talk to you guys later.